Perfect. 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 What is going on, everybody? I go by RB, and this is Philly Take with RB. Like always, if you're enjoying the content of this channel, be sure to smash that like button for me. Hit that subscribe if you're new, and ding that notification bell so you're instantly notified whenever I upload or go live. Today, we are back on another Monday after the Eagles lose to the Pittsburgh Steelers by a score of 38-29. The Eagles dropped to 1-3-1, now sit at second in the NFC East, but somehow, someway are still just a half game out of first, even though this doesn't feel or look like a compound structured team. And even though Dallas won yesterday against the Giants, their franchise quarterback, prayers to Dak, hope he gets better soon. He's going to be out a significant amount of time. So this division is still up for grabs, but it's still not looking pretty right now. Like we usually do on Mondays, let's go ahead and look at the injury report. So Lane Johnson went down yesterday later on in the game. Doug Pederson says his ankle is going to require a second look, and I've just been saying it, shut him down for some time. They've been trying to get him back, but it's just not going to work. He's not really looking that good. Doug also talked about Desean Jackson and Alshon Jeffrey, and again, doesn't sound too optimistic. You know, he's hopeful they'll practice, maybe this, maybe that. They don't play, and even when they do get on the field, you know, they just don't stay on the field. So at this point, who knows, man? Who knows? I know Duke Riley also went out. I think there were a couple guys that went down with a little bit of nagging injuries. Doesn't seem too serious. So we'll see what happens. But this team is all kinds of banged up at this point. But let's get into this and talk about it. I want to keep it short and simple today. I can't be mad at the Philadelphia Eagles for losing this game because they weren't the better team. But what I can be mad at is that they left a lot of opportunity out on the field. There were really a lot of chances to win this game, even going down in the second half. You know, when Carson Wentz throws that interception to, well, he intended to throw it to Zach Ertz, and Zach kind of gets bumped on the shoulder. By the way, just want to put this out there and say it once and only once. The refs were atrocious. They left a lot of calls on the field. They were nowhere near their best. I wish the NFL would take a look at this game. I'm not going to say that's the reason we lost, but the rest were absolutely terrible. This Ertz play, some of the PIs on Slay and Jalen Mills, a lot of things. There were a lot of holding calls on both sides as well, not even just for us, but for the Steelers as well. And the rest were just bad. They were just bad. But the Eagles left a lot of opportunity on the field, and that play going down when Zach Ertz gets bumped and he kind of just stops running. We'll talk about him more. When that play happened, I thought the game was going to shift, and it just seemed like the Eagles were dead in the water. But before I even know it, before I even blinked, the Eagles cut it from 17-2, the lead. And, you know, they find themselves after an Eric Ebron fumble, and maybe even another one, depending on the call, that maybe should have been called. They find themselves in a position with 3.5 minutes left. And Jake Elliott, Doug Pederson finally puts his faith up in Jake Elliott. By the way, I'm still sticking with what I said yesterday. I think it was the right call. I think you give your kicker the chance there. 57 yards, nothing too crazy. And he's shown to have hit big-time field goals before. I think you put your trust in him. He was just a few feet to the right. That was it. And he misses. And then we go down, have another chance to stop them. And Doug Pederson, his answer to this whole situation, first off, Jim Schwartz was absolutely terrible all day. But this situation in 3rd and 8, the biggest play of the game, Nate Gerry gets lined up on Chase Claypool. They go with an empty set. We go with a cover 2. And Ben Roethlisberger, this was broken down by Emmanuel Acho, and he showed how Big Ben kind of audibled at the line and told Chase Claypool to run straight to the end zone. And maybe that's fine. And I can't be too mad at Nate Gerry. I mean, he stinks. It's not his fault he was lined up. But first off, Jim Schwartz, how do you allow that to happen? Second off, where's the recognition to maybe call a timeout? They asked Doug about it today. Asked him multiple times about that situation, and he kept trying to dip and dodge it. But then ultimately, he just said, I didn't want to burn a timeout. It was good recognition by Big Ben to change up the play. I didn't want to call a timeout. Well, you know what, Doug? You didn't want to burn a timeout so we could get the ball back. Guess what? When we got the ball back, it didn't matter. You gave up the game-winning drive. It's really hard to listen to some of these Doug Pederson pressers because he says nothing that makes sense. He really says nothing. But for Nate Gerry to be in that situation, and my biggest problem is, yeah, you got Chase Claypool, a rookie, who has 3 total touchdowns in the game. But how do you look that lazy and sloppy when Chase Claypool just runs all the way by you that quick, no recognition, turns around, almost stumbles? I mean, that was the easiest touchdown I may have ever seen with my own 2 eyes. Absolutely terrible. That game was lost right there. We get it back. Wentz throws a terrible interception. But anyway, we thought this was going to be a game of the pass rush. Pittsburgh had a total of 5 sacks in this game. They put pressure on Carson Wentz. And as I've been saying, the Eagles do things when they're working and then they start to regress away from them. Why wasn't Carson Wentz on the move more? That's a huge issue. Carson Wentz, that element has to be incorporated. He was just staying in the pocket and was, again, not getting rid of the ball as quickly as he needed to. Our offensive line was crumbled up, and again, guys are going down, but still, Carson Wentz needs to have better recognition, and we needed to hold up a little bit more. But again, the defense of the Pittsburgh Steelers got to Carson Wentz. They did their job. But on the other hand, the Eagles pass rush finished with 1 sack in this game and, you know, had a lot of penalties. The Eagles were very undisciplined. 9 penalties, big time penalties in situations too. You know, after Jake Elliott misses that field goal, Pittsburgh got down the field in, I think, 30 seconds as Brandon Graham gets a 15-yard face mask. I think it was Josh Sweat who jumped off sides. We can't be undisciplined and win the game. We also lost the turnover battle again. Couldn't force any turnovers. Well, we had the 1 fumble, but besides that, I mean, Steelers picked us off twice. They were on us all day. We just did not see anything. And it's like Jim Schwartz completely reverted from one thing to the other. And the Eagles defense just did not look anything near what they have. I mean, giving up 38 to the Steelers team is insane. It really is insane. Darius Slay played a terrible game. The first time I can actually say that he played a terrible game. Even though a couple of those pass interferences were iffy. Mills played terrible. I mean, I've never been a fan of Jalen Mills. Just the secondary as a whole and our linebackers, we already know, and the fact that our D-line, which we're predicated on, did not get pressure, it was not good enough. It really was not good enough, and the situational plays just came back to bite us. And like I said, on the biggest play of the game, we did not do what was needed, or even nearly what was needed to try to stay in that game. Going to the offensive side of the ball, the one bright spot was obviously Travis Fulgham. I mean, 152 yards, 1 touchdown. The guy looked like a #1 receiver, and I anticipate him being able to keep it up. You could really tell he has that it factor. I don't know how he's been slept on, but he's going to be the new #1 of the Eagles until we either go get someone or these guys come back or whatever. But Travis Fulgham and Wentz have a lot of chemistry. Carson Wentz had a pretty decent game, I would say, almost put up 30 points. He's still missing throws high and low and some, you know, in big-time spots. I don't think Doug Pederson did as good of a job getting him in a transition early. I mean, the Eagles had, I think, -3 passing yards in the first quarter. Wentz was 1 for 4 in the first quarter. Just not good enough. And, you know, Carson Wentz got better as the game went on, put together some good drives. Doug started to get into that creative mindset, but it was almost too little too late. And then the Eagles, again, they surprised us and get back in this, but, you know, it just was not good enough, and then the defense could not bail us out at all. My problem, though, is, you know, Carson Wentz, even though he's making these big throws to Travis Fulgham, that 3rd and 5 call was terrible by Doug Pederson, and then Wentz telegraphed it all the way. It was, you know, in double coverage. Travis could not catch it, and then we go for the field goal. Maybe if we wanted for 4-down territory, we could have gone and maybe rushed for a couple yards, but that's the big thing. Rushing the ball. That will go highly overlooked in this game, but I've been saying it even last week. Even though the runs and the pass were equal, that Doug gets away from the run. 11 carries for 80 yards rushing and 2 touchdowns. And this guy broke off a 74-yard rushing touchdown early on in the game, and I don't understand why Doug continues to go away from him. He's going from 20 carries to 18 to 16 to 11. It does not make sense. We don't even have a complimentary back like a power guy that we can throw in there. I mean, Boston Scott is non-existent. Corey Clement is non-existent. Really, what is going on? Doug Pederson, I've been saying it, needs to delegate and get rid of his play calling duties, because at this point, it's not going to work. Miles Sanders in his hometown had something to prove. He had something to prove, put up 2 touchdowns in this game, and the Eagles ran the ball for a total of 85 yards in the first half and finished the game with 94 rushing yards. We ran the ball for 9 yards in the second half on a few carries, and it's ridiculous. You cannot do that. You cannot do that. You have to be balanced. You got to let this run open up the pass, and I just don't understand why not. I mean, you tell me the Eagles finished this game with more passing yards. The Eagles finished this game 10 for 14 on third down. The Steelers 11 for 15. The Eagles even got out possession by 10 minutes and were in position to win the game. That just shows me you make a couple better decisions. You don't make as many mistakes in terms of the coaches. Just a few things different, and we win this game. And that's what I'm saying. The Eagles had the opportunity. It was out there to go ahead and win this game, and the Philadelphia Eagles just did not take it. One of the other major things I'd like to talk about is Zach Ertz and his place within this franchise. Honestly, I'm kind of getting scared that, you know, Zach Ertz might not even be seeing a lot of, not playing time, but just really a lot of anything soon. I mean, what is wrong with Zach Ertz? It's really bugging me to this point. And, you know, when Dallas Goedert goes down and Zach Ertz is trying to make a statement this year, you know, showing that he should get paid and showing that he's that guy. And, you know, he's been Carson Wentz's right-hand man. That's his security blanket. And for Zach Ertz, you know, 1 catch for 6 yards, and last week a couple catches, and you know, he just has not been himself all year. I don't know if there's like an underlying injury that is just not being brought to light, or if Zach Ertz is trying to make a statement or what, but he's doing exactly the opposite. And being, you know, 30-year-old tight end, nobody's going to pay him the way he wants to get paid, especially if he's playing like this. And we have been in need of great tight end play. That's the one constant always on this Philadelphia Eagles team, has been great tight end play, and right now we're just not seeing it. And when Dallas Goedert goes down, he was highly used early on. He's going to be out for some time, and then Zach Ertz is literally non-existent. And that play where Wentz throws his first interception, yeah, Zach Ertz got bumped, probably should have been a flag, but why did he give up? Why did he just stop playing? There must be either some tension or just some disgust or something going on. But overall, my main takeaway from this game is that the Philadelphia Eagles just have not put together a full, complete game of football, a full 4 quarters of, you know, every aspect of the game just looking solid. And usually a team really can't unless they're a good team, right? Like, we haven't seen one full game where the Eagles, you know, don't start off slow or don't end off slow or have these sloppy mistakes. No, we just have not seen that. And that's really all I got from this game. The Eagles left a lot on the field, and I hope they go back and look at the film. Let me know all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.
Perfect.